Rapid developments in the Middle East this week as conflicts in Iraq and Syria converged with a jihadist-led offensive that threatens the entire region. And the U.S. is getting more involved. To put this all in context, we're joined by CCTV's Liling Tan, who is live from the United Nations in New York. Liling.
Yes, Elaine, rapid developments indeed in a highly volatile and complex equation, one in which the fates of both Iraq and Syria are closely interconnected with a growing militant threat that could spread across the region with even farther reaching consequences. It has prompted the U.S. to consider a $500 million cash injection to support moderate Syrian fighters and put together a series of meetings in Saudi Arabia with key allies in the region. The U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry met with key regional allies in Saudi Arabia, including the foreign ministers of Saudi Arabia, of Jordan, and the United Arab Emirates, to address the growing ISIL threat in both Iraq and Syria. In this complex equation, all three entities, Iraq, Syria, and ISIL, are closely linked. And here's why. In Iraq, there are continuing clashes, as we've heard, between the ruling Shiite and the minority Sunnis and Kurds, while at the same time, Iraqis are battling a ferocious ISIL advanced offensive with very limited resources. And across the border in Syria, civil war rages into its fourth year as rebel groups try to fight and overthrow the Bashar al-Assad regime. Now, as ISIL makes gains in its offensive, taking over large swaths of territory in Iraq and along the Syrian border, it is blurring the line between both countries. And for the onslaught in Syria, the Obama administration is requesting $500 million to support to provide military assistance and equipment to moderate Syrian groups in their battle against not just the al-Assad government, but also the ISIL threat. Now, here's why it has far-reaching consequences. It goes beyond the threat of a regional sectarian war. Now, according to many experts, ISIL could have very strong staying power, thanks in part to power vacuums that exist in the region that have allowed ISIL to flourish so far, such as in Syria. And also countries with conflicting interests can help fuel ISIL's agenda. For example, Turkey's support for Kurdish autonomy in Iraq would benefit from an Iraqi government weakened by ISIL. And since this is the Middle East, there are far-reaching economic consequences as well. Oil prices will be affected, oil prices will jump, and countries outside of the region that are also oil-producing countries can stand to benefit, such as Russia. Elaine?
All right, CCTV's Liling Tan outside the